Grand Rapids, yes, it is the Storm K. Olsen show. We are up all night along with you, trying to bring you the headlines, the news, just current events, you know, that's what we like to talk about here. So if you're up late at night, hey, I hear you, so am I. You can catch me every night of the week over at the fabulous Tremont Hotel and Lounge on beautiful 28th Street. Well, anyways, it was a big day for news. First of all, let's talk about gay marriage. You know, you may have your religious views, but you know, not everybody has your religion, and you know, the country isn't run by any state religion. That's it's actually in the Constitution to prevent it from becoming that. I know it was founded by a lot of Christian people, but we don't proclaim that we're a Christian nation. We proclaim that we have freedom of religion. So the religious basis for gay marriage is a non-issue for me. Maybe it's wrong against procreation if you're really big on increasing the world populace some more. You might have a point there, but as far as I can tell, we're probably got a probably an overpopulation problem, if anything. So let's address the issue, gay marriage. What can I say about it? I don't know. Should gay people be allowed to get married? Sure, if a church is willing to marry them, I don't see why not. As far as the state sanctioning it, well, here's what I think should happen here. Let's see. I don't come from a household where marriage was discussed or talked about. Single, raised by a single mom. You know, I didn't see too many marriages growing up. The ones I do know of, I'd say probably about half of them are done with now. So here's what I say. We're going to have to take away marriage from everybody as far as the state is concerned. I would say that, here's what I'd like to do. Make all unions across the country between a man and a woman, or between a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, have them all be civil unions. That's right. The state would not recognize your marriage anymore. It would only recognize that you are united in a civil union, and therefore receive benefits that any other couple would receive. You can't defy a couple from getting benefits just because you don't personally agree with the person they chose to marry. You know, people's sexuality comes on all different levels, from what I've seen, and to say that one certain level is better or more appropriate than another, it's a tough one. I mean, of course you can't abuse minors or anything like that, but between two consenting adults, I mean, what business is it of the government's? That's what I say. Take away marriage from everybody. Sorry. People don't seem to be using it too well in the first place. And make everything a civil union, and have people's marriages only recognized by the churches that marry them and their family and friends, of course. Once again, all marriage gone. Only civil unions as far as the states and the government is concerned. Your marriage will only be recognized by your family and friends and your church, the people that it should be recognized by. See, for me, it's more of a separation of church and state. That's how I see the whole gay marriage issue. I think that tends to take care of a lot of loose ends, and it seems to work out the best for everybody, since nobody can be fair with marriage. Nobody gets it. Okay, another big issue in the day. Terrorist attack, a huge one on Spain. Their 9/11 is what they're calling it over there. Interestingly enough, it happened on March 11, 3/11. There's a lot of rumors flying around on who did it. It could be the local terrorist organization in Spain there, or it could be another Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist bombing. And this was hugely well coordinated. I mean, they had bombs planted in all sorts of subway trains, and if that happened over here, it would be god awful. Like it's another horrible thing in the world. How do you stop terrorism? How do you stop an ideological movement? I don't know. I plan on getting into this in the future. I just wanted to have a moment of silence, a moment of personal reflection on the state that the world's in these days. What can drive people to orchestrate such a massive killing and not even express why they did it? It's hard to reason with people. So far, the only clue that we have is because Spain was such a big supporter of the United States and their efforts to flush out terrorism, which probably haven't been going as well as they should be. I don't know. Excuse me. It's just it's a particularly rough day on the world front. Okay, third issue. Yeah, it is pretty ironic. What a coincidence. I'm not sure what you'd call it, that I'm starting this show today when the FCC has passed through the House a sweeping new reform on the fines they can levy on obscene broadcasters. Now this is so far as I can tell, strictly going after publicly broadcasted, i.e. Stuff that you can pick up with an antenna through the actual radio and television waves. The broadcast networks such as Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC, and of course the numerous radio stations across the country, Clear Channel, Citadel, and all of the like. Huge new fines. From what I saw, they're going up to about $500,000 per that can be levied against the actual person committing the offense, and be fined for every station that carries that that offending program. Now I suppose all this started with the public outrage against the Super Bowl. I personally really am not a big fan of sports, so I was not watching the Super Bowl this year. Not a big fan of MTV either, so wouldn't have tuned in for the halftime show anyways. But as far as Janet Jackson exposing some breastage on the Super Bowl show, well, you know, it's probably not as bad as all the violence and corpses and whatnot you can catch on ER and CSI and whatnot, and those are on the network stations. I guess this was probably pretty early in the evening. But honestly, they shouldn't have gone that far. I know it's a big outrage and whatnot, but yeah, Janet Jackson did not need to pull that on the national network. I mean, you can do that on the Video Music Awards all you want, but a lot of church people are into sports, are probably watching the Super Bowl. The ads are probably a bit much too, as far as the erectile dysfunction ads and whatnot. I find those as offensive as the, well, you know, maybe not quite as offensive. That is a total naked body part with a crazy piercing and whatnot, from what I hear too. You know, it's just not flattering. From what I hear, Justin Timberlake even ripped it off or so. I don't, you know, I'd levy as much blame on him as I do her. He said it was a wardrobe malfunction, but I'm pretty sure it was scripted. I mean, you don't go in front of a whole bunch of people and just pull something weird like that. Well, I don't know, maybe you do, but it sure has caused a big fuss with the rest of the nation. And with that note, it looks like we are due for a commercial break, so we're going to go ahead and take this commercial, and I'll see you on the other side.
You chose to try to beat the train. This is the next 60 seconds of your life.
Please slow down, y'all. Stop! Just stop! No, we can't beat that train!
All right, we got it.
Stop! We can wait for the bus! Stop! No!
Michigan's roads can be highways or dieways. The choice is yours.
Yeah, okay, back once again. This is Nocturnal Transmissions. You are in Grand Rapids. I am Storn Christopher Olson. Let's see, where'd we leave off? I believe I was discussing the FCC fines. Yeah, I collected my thoughts a little bit more on this issue. Here's what I gotta say. I'm ticked off that CBS didn't have a 10-second delay or something on that. With MTV producing the halftime show, you know there's going to be some raciness going on. You know there's going to be some limits being pushed. You know, good taste is not going to be very prevalent in it. Put a 10-second delay on. If they would have had that, they could have caught her ridiculous flashing, and we wouldn't have this huge government crackdown led by Senator Upton. Thanks a lot, Michigan Senator Fred Upton, for shepherding this bill through the House today. Huge fines, not good. Because as far as finding things such as the Howard Stern show, you know, tuning into the Howard Stern show, that what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of lewd behavior. You're not going to want to listen to that program with your mother in the room. Nope. Kids are usually on their way or in school during that time. Of course, they can listen to it all morning long in their room and on the bus right there with headphones. But, I don't know. I mean, they've been pushing those levels for a long time. I remember 5-6 years ago when they had a program called Love Lines that was on the on KLQ, I think it was. And, well, they discussed all sorts of crazy sex stuff on that show, and nobody considered it lewd. I was listening to Howard Stern the day that he apparently crossed over the line, and let me tell you, it was no different than any other day on the Howard Stern show, except for that he had been picking on President Bush a little bit more than usual. He tends to leave politics alone, But Howard Stern sure was ragging on Bush that day, and I think that might have had a little bit more to do with these huge fines on him than his radio broadcasts. Because honestly, I've heard a lot worse on the Howard Stern show than I heard that day. His show does seem to be toned down a little bit, and personally, I like it better that way. So, there's a lot of give and take when it comes to this indecency issue. It's tough when you're talking about the public airwaves, but please, public, if they attempt to go after our precious cable lines, you must stand up for the right to say what you want on cable, at least. Broadcast TV and radio, I can somewhat understand. I hear if Stern gets any more charges on him, he's going to move to XM satellite radio, a subscription service, so he could say whatever he wanted to. Me personally, I think that's a good idea. Hopefully I'll be getting XM satellite radio soon. I am a big fan of new technology, and I still believe that science can make human life better and easier to live, and mesh that with a little bit of morality and conservationism, and hey, you're all set for the 21st century. So there's a lot of stabs at our freedoms these days, and we're gonna have to be vigilant and let them know that they can't cross too far. This FCC bill, as it stands right now, I apparently don't have a problem with it, but I sure hope it doesn't go after such protected mediums as cable access and regular cable television, for that matter. Okay, next topic. By now, maybe some of you are wondering what the hell this show is all about. Well, I'm kind of wondering that too. It's a journey. This show is about a journey for knowledge. In the coming weeks, I plan to do many, many more episodes, and hopefully establish some sort of dialogue. In the future, I'd love to do some call-in episodes. I'd love to go out on location, maybe somewhere exciting, which would be just about anywhere compared to the fabulous Fremont Inn lobby here. So this show is all about, well, a lot of it's about me. As you can see, I'm the only host of it, and nobody helps film these. Nobody helps edit them. Nobody lights them, except for me. So, well, I guess I'm entitled to my opinion then, aren't I? I don't know, there's really nothing stopping any of you who are watching this show from coming down to the GRTV studios, taking some classes and checking out a camera, your own bad self, and putting on your own funky show. As a matter of fact, I encourage anybody with a little bit of spare time and a little bit of inclination and ambition to come on down to the GRTV studios. It's a fabulous place. People are great to work with. Can't say enough fantastic things about GRTV. In the coming weeks, I plan on researching some of my topics a little bit better, since I didn't research them all at all for this show. So I'm sure the discussions will be getting heavier as time goes on. I plan on discussing all sorts of countercultural ideas as far as politics, the environment, different ways of thinking, different groups, and interesting thoughts and ideas. Hey, that's what we're all about here. And I admit I do have a penchant for the weird, the strange, and unusual. Wasn't brought up in a very churchy household at all, so this show might offend anybody with deep religious convictions. But that's all right. Because if your faith is so easily shaken, then you definitely shouldn't be watching late night cable access television. No, turn me off. So we'll see what the future holds. There might even be more to the show. I don't know, but it's about 4:45 in the morning, and I've got to start setting breakfast up for all the fantastic residents here. So, until next time, I bid you all adieu. And hey, you can write me, you can hate me. I don't really care, because I'm still gonna be kicking around. And yeah, hopefully we can all just get along. And I'm out there fighting for you to say what you want, to be as free as possible, without infringing on others' rights. That is, of course. Hopefully we can all live in a harmonious society where we move forward on this planet. I'll be seeing you in the future. To all, a good night.